Let's get to our first headliner topic on this edition of the Rock News Roundup podcast, and that is Bush is going on tour across North America and South America, along with Rival Sons and Filter. If you're a fan of 90s rock or 2000s rock or 2010s rock, if you're a Rival Sons fan, or maybe just a fan of rock in general, a solid fan of solid three-band lineups, this is going to be the tour for you. This information comes from Consequence of Sound, and they're saying that Bush has announced a solid triple bill tour with Rival Sons and Filter across North America and South America. They're calling it Loaded, the greatest hits tour, so you can expect all the fans or all the bands to be bringing the hits on this tour. You know, Bush will be playing songs like Glycerin and Machine Head and Come Down and all those big songs, maybe some Greedy Fly and some Swallowed. Hey, maybe even playing Letting the Cable Sleep if they really want to get into their deep hits. That one coming from The Science of Things back in 1999. And then Filter and Rival Sons. Like, that's a great lineup as well. So this tour is going to kick off in Santiago, Chile on March the 28th before heading north for a bunch of dates that are going to be happening in May. And the cool thing about this is that Canada is getting some major love on this tour. As a Canadian, I can definitely appreciate that because, you know, this is probably one of the best, maybe one of the better, you know, international non-Canadian tours that we've gotten in a very, very long while. We get our fair share of awesome bands who come to Canada, but the thing is when they come, they usually just go to Toronto, maybe Vancouver, maybe Montreal, maybe not a lot of the stops in between. But this one is hitting a lot of secondary markets in Canada that I think is really, really cool for a band like Bush and for these big bands, Bush, Filter, and Rival Sons. I know they're a little bit nostalgic, even Rival Sons, who are the newer band of the bunch. But to see them going across Canada playing secondary markets like Kelowna, BC is really, really cool. And then playing some spots in between Vancouver and Toronto, you know, going to Alberta, playing Calgary, playing Edmonton, going to Saskatchewan, playing Saskatoon, playing Winnipeg and Manitoba. And then they're coming to my neck of the woods in Southern Ontario, and they're playing some really cool cities as well. They're not just going to Toronto. They're actually not going to Toronto at all on this tour, which is something I can definitely dig. So they're going to be playing in Ontario in cities like Kitchener and St. Catharines, which in all honesty actually makes me want to go more to this show. I was telling my girlfriend Danielle that I want to go to more concerts this year because in 2024 we didn't go to a lot of concerts at all. I think we went to maybe one or two concerts, and that was kind of a combination of maybe not as many bands coming around that we wanted to go see, but also the price of concerts is absolutely crazy these days, as anybody out there can attest. If you bought a concert ticket in the last little while, very, very expensive. And I want to go see all these bands that I love, but I'm always hesitant when I look at the price. And then, like I was saying, most bands come to Toronto when they come to Canada. That's usually the only market that they play across the country. And I've been to my fair share of concerts in Toronto. I still go to my fair share of concerts in Toronto, but I kind of hate going to Toronto because it's always just a huge deal to go there, to travel to Toronto, to deal with the traffic, to find parking, to go to the venue. Sometimes it just doesn't feel worth it. So, it's not really as big of a deal to go drive to Kitchener or to St. Catharines, which are kind of in either direction of me here in Hamilton. So it's kind of cool. It's more appealing to go see a band in St. Catharines or to go see them in Kitchener. There's more parking, there's less traffic, there's less stress, and you get to go see some pretty huge bands in Bush and Filter and Rival Sons. And I'm thinking about my concert budget for the year. I think I already spent most of my money on Oasis tickets to go see them in Toronto at Rogers Stadium in August. So that definitely limits my concert budget for 2025, but I really do want to try to go to this. But the prices, they don't look too bad considering what you get. You get three pretty big bands on one bill. Taking a look at Ticketmaster.ca, most of the tickets, I'm taking a look at the show at the Meridian Center in St. Catharines, which is near Niagara Falls. They're in like the $70 to $100 range, which is fair. Most shows are gonna cost you that much. Still a lot per person, in my opinion. $70 per person. That's still almost $200 when you factor in the fees. Probably even more than that to go to this show. Even with those three bands on the bill, it's still a lot of money. So I'm still on the fence whether I'm gonna go attend these shows or not. But, and also other good news or cool news for Bush fans, Gavin Rossdale, the frontman of Bush, has announced with iHeartRadio and in this article on Consequence of Sound, the title of the next Bush album. It's going to be their 10th studio album, and this may change in time, but right now he's calling the 10th Bush album I Beat Loneliness. And he's saying that so many people these days are experiencing struggles, and for us to overcome those negative feelings and move on with our lives, that's kind of the theme of the title of the record. And I'm sure lyrically it's making its way in there as well. But some new music from Bush probably coming in 2025. But in the meantime, they're going to be going out and playing the hits across North America with a lot of shows in Canada, across Canada. Like I'm saying, if you're a Canadian music fan, a lot of these bands that come from outside of Canada, whether it be American or British or whatever, tend to just go to Toronto, Vancouver, Montreal. Not a lot of them tend to hit those secondary markets and those middle markets throughout the country. So very cool to see that people in Kitchener and St. Catharines and Kelowna and BC and other places in Alberta and across the country are going to get a chance to see this show. So tickets for this tour are on sale now, and you can go buy those right away. You can do it right now. I don't know if I will. I'm very tempted because this is a solid bill. I could definitely see myself enjoying every band on this bill because I'm pretty familiar with a lot of the music that they're making these days and in the past. So I think this would be enjoyable. I'm on the fence about buying tickets, but let me know if you're thinking of buying tickets for this tour of Bush, Filter, and the Rival Sons in the comments below. Let's get a conversation going. What do you think of ticket prices these days? Even with a solid 3-band bill like this, where you have 3 really solid bands on the bill playing the stage that night, it's still a little bit pricey, at least for me. But let me know in the comments whether you're going to be going to the Greatest Hits tour with Bush or if you're going to save the money for something else. Let me know in the comments below.